Hey, everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan, and it's a bit red today. Well, Bitcoin is hanging in there, currently trading at the time of this recording at about $104,000, with some assets in the top 50 moving towards the green in the last hour. I have to tell you that owners of Fartcoin are feeling hilarious because their meme is up, wow, 15.67% in the 24-hour. I think some of the rhetoric between Elon and Trump is calming down and finding some common ground. Maybe you can see here that they both agree no member of Congress should be eligible for re-election if the country's budget is not balanced. Deficits not allowed. And yeah, I think I was a little surprised with the current poll here. Is it time to create a new political party in America that actually represents 80% of the middle class? Well, I voted yes, and I am one of 80% that believes so. And look at that, more than 5 million votes with 4 hours left. We're getting closer day by day with the XRP Ledger EVM sidechain going live. It's currently on the testnet. And what I found really interesting is within this ecosystem, the Discord has 40,000 members. So not everybody is a hodler. And you can see here that in the DApp Scout, which is the programs that are being built or are built and ready to launch when the EVM sidechain goes live, you can take a look at what is in the pipeline. And I'm telling you, there's some interesting apps here. I think that that is what a lot of people have been missing, is just what in the world can I do with my XRP? Well, Hugo Filion is going to tell you what you can do with it in person while he's in Singapore, 5 p.m. Wednesday in the Olivia Room. He's going to talk about XRP staking powered by Flare Networks in their TEEs. That's the Trusted Execution Environments. That is for executing code in a secure area. And this event is put on by Ripple. XRP is one of the most established digital assets built on a strong foundation in payments and remittances, but now there's a growing momentum to expand XRP into DeFi. And it's not just the institutional investors, it is also the retail investors, and major players are taking notice. But not all approaches are equal. Some new projects are fully custodial and centralized. One party controls the minting, burning, and smart contracts. This is maybe the differentiating factor, the biggest differentiating factor for Flare Networks. You can see that they are going to bring this different path, and especially with the F asset systems that Flare facilitates the non-custodial, over-collateralized bridging of the XRP. The smart contracts enforce strict risk controls, and the system is kept honest by independent agents, liquidators, and challengers. Yes, bridging is just the beginning. You're going to be able to take your XRP and lend, borrow, stake, restake, and mint these synthetic stablecoins, which are also coming. This is all about XRP-Fi. It's a new era of utility for XRP, powered by decentralization. Ripple, the company, is working on the institutional investor for using the XRP ledger, especially for DeFi. And I want to point out a post that came from David Schwartz, the CTO of Ripple. He would say that you can consider the XRP ledger together with other things Ripple has built to be a financial system. So it's not just the ledger alone. And he hopes that over the next few years, it can provide a significant fraction of the financial services that people need every day, from payments to investments to loans. So for those people who say that everything's going to run on the ledger, I'm sorry, that's just not the case. But to have a significant fraction is very big because the financial service sector is huge. He goes on to say that the XRP ledger is more than just XRP. There are stablecoins. There will be tokenized real-world assets, loans of all kinds of things. A DEX doesn't work with just one asset either. The XRP has a privileged place on the XRP ledger because it's the only asset that any account can receive. You don't have to open a trust line. And it also is the only asset without a counterparty risk. And it's only the one asset that you can pay transaction fees with. The question to ponder, he says, is how much value XRP Ledger can generate and to what extent that can turn into XRP value. He says it's very hard to know how much of XRP's value today comes from the XRP Ledger's value. But, I really think there's a direct correlation to the total value lock. That's the TVL. That is what's tracked across the EVM chains. It very often reflects a high value of total value locked, gives you a high value on the digital asset. I'm sure that once Flare Networks goes live with all of its XRP5 offerings, and we've got the XRPL EVM sidechain live, you're going to see a lot of focus on TVL. Weitza Wind stood up a website that you can get the stupid token. It's a pre-sale live now. And boy, this particular token has revolutionary tokenomics. This is all satire, but what he wants to point out is for you to be very careful and find the red flags that are really something you should watch for, like anonymous or fake team members, no working product or clear utility, unrealistic promises and returns, pressure to act fast or FOMO tactics that get you to act today, no clear roadmap or business plan, heavy focus on hype and over substance. Yes, this is a great site to remind everyone that these scams are increasing and you have to be very diligent. I have followed up and will continue to follow up on the CME Group XRP Futures contracts volume and open interest. In the last 3 days, you can see that the contracts sold were 145, 86, and 117. We have a little bit of catching up to do. You can see the Bitcoin comparison in the last 3 days for their contract volume was 91,000, 92,000, and 13,000. Now, a really quick video so that you can completely understand what the CME XRP futures contracts are about. Have a listen.
XRP and Micro XRP futures contracts, ticker symbols XRP and MXP respectively, are financially settled monthly contracts based on the CME CF XRP dollar reference rate, which serves as a once-a-day reference rate for the US dollar price of XRP. The reference rate aggregates the trade flow of cryptocurrency spot exchanges during a 1-hour calculation window into the US dollar price of 1 XRP as of 4 p.m. London time. So, what is XRP? XRP is the native token of the XRP ledger. This open-source ledger was developed to facilitate real-time settlements among banks, payment platforms, and digital asset exchanges. The total supply of XRP tokens was pre-mined and capped at 100 billion tokens. XRP and Micro XRP futures allow individuals to access the XRP market as well as hedge any direct exposure to XRP's price risk. XRP and MXP futures trade Sunday through Friday from 6 p.m. to 5 p.m. New York time. A single XRP futures contract represents 50,000 XRP and is quoted in US dollars per XRP. The minimum tick increment is 0.0005 US dollars per XRP, meaning a one-tick move of the XRP futures is equal to 25 US dollars. A single Micro XRP futures contract represents 2,500 XRP and is also quoted in US dollars per XRP. The minimum tick increment is 0.0005 US dollars per XRP, meaning a one-tick movement is equal to $1.25 per contract. Both XRP and MXP futures are block trade eligible with a minimum quantity threshold of 5 contracts for XRP futures and 10 contracts for MXP futures. XRP and MXP futures expire the last Friday of the contract month. There are 6 consecutive monthly contracts listed, plus 4 quarterly contracts, inclusive of the nearest 2 December contracts. For example, assume it's January and the 6 consecutive contract months are January, February, March, April, May, and June. The 4 quarterly contracts would be September, December of the same year, March, and June of the next year. In addition, a second December contract will also be listed. This process continues throughout each year. XRP makes up a significant part of the digital asset market. XRP and Micro XRP Futures offer transparency, price discovery, and risk management, allowing individuals to access the XRP market and hedge against price risk. For more information about XRP Futures, please visit cmegroup.com/XRP.
In about 30 minutes, I'm going to be giving a presentation in a virtual con, and today's topic is staying current in the digital space. I'm going to really focus on the power of AI agents and the data that can be amassed through those agents assisting you and attaching a growth strategy with it. So I hope to share some of that with you. And until next time, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.